What's going on, lads and ladies? Enjoy this Reddit video about life lessons from fathers. Throw a like and subscribe. Those who grew up with a good father, what was the most important thing you learned from him? You are the only person you have to live with for the rest of your life. In other words, take responsibility for what you do, learn how to move past your mistakes, and realize that your actions have consequences. My great GMA always said, wherever you go, self goes with you. Wherever you go, there you are. You can't outrun yourself. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. My dad taught me to always be kind. Kindness isn't loud. It doesn't need to be stated. It should just be inherent in everything you do. You don't have to like everyone or treat them well if they don't treat you well, but you should try to approach everyone with the same kindness you'd wish they'd give you. Same. While it was never literally taught, he has always been a role model in how he treated me and others with kindness and empathy. If it was easy, everyone would do it. This is what I have to remind myself when my job gets real tough. Everyone in my family loves to quit when the going gets tough, and it's something I've really had to work hard to fight against. Alternatively, my dad used to say, if this was rocket science, they wouldn't let people like you do it. If you don't know how to make things better, just listen. Boy, was he right. Not enough people know how to do this. Because it is a hard skill. Active listening is not easy. I found out the same people who require people listening to them are really freaking bad at it. Either that or people truly want to hear standard "don't worry it will get better" phrases. In that case, I'll just accept that I'm bad at it, because hearing that, when I struggle, instantly makes me resent the other person, and as someone who struggled with depression, I actively try to avoid using a phrase of this kind. If you ever feel like you have a problem, just know you can live a full happy life without alcohol. He couldn't control it, and neither could I. He gave it up so he could have his son in his life. I gave it up because of his example. My great-grandfather and grandfather both died due to alcoholism. My dad decided he wasn't going down that route, so never drinks. Seriously, I've never once seen him take so much as a sip, and he made sure all his kids knew it was in our genes, knew the stories, etc. I was never a teetotaler, but it was fine for me until I lost my wife and kids one morning a bit over 2.5 years ago. I can't imagine not drinking myself to sleep every night now, and when I have to, it's freaking miserable. Anyhow, point is, not you, butt crack. Anyone else reading? If you know you're likely predisposed to it, don't start or give it up before it becomes your medication. Goddamn man, I am so sorry to hear that. I came into this thread to share my story of pain, but you have helped me to gain some perspective. Bless you, and I hope you are able to find peace. Feel free to drop a PM if you ever need to talk. Thanks, mate. Wasn't looking for anything for myself, just wanted to warn others. Your compassion is appreciated though. To kids, time equals love. Exactly. My dad was always teaching me different things and doing all kind of activities with me. I was only seeing him one weekend on two while my mum had me the rest of the time, and I actually don't really remember doing anything at all with my mum besides 2 vacations we had together. But my dad, I remember he showed me how to ride a bike, do rollerblades, hiking, how to skate, skiing, gardening, going to bookstores or antique stores and more. I remember much more clearly the days me and my dad did different activities and actually spent time doing stuffs together, and I still have a really good relationship with him right now. It also developed my curiosity to try new things, and we still go on bike ride together once every summer, even though he's 73 now, and I still love gardening with him, and we exchange books these days too. I'm going through a rough time in life right now, and knowing this gives me a lot of hope and joy. My only worry in this world is to have a smart, developed baby boy to continue to grow to a great man one day, and to always know I love him. Thank you for replying. One thing too that is important is that he was also having real conversation with me about any kind of topics. Meals together were really simple, but it was never in front of the TV too. Compared to my mum, and I still remember the food he made much more than the one my mum made. I'm sure this is one reason for that. I still ask him to make me pancakes almost every time I go visit him. It doesn't have to be complicated things, but just simple stuffs that I remember and have really good memories of. Just going for ice cream too, and actually sitting down to eat it and talking was so nice too. Or getting breakfast sometimes on weekends. It's the little things that counts and that I remember the most, because he was consistent with it even though we didn't spend that much time together. It showed how much he cared. I'm sure you'll do a great job. To appreciate nature. The power of sitting in silence and looking at the night sky. Yes. When I was 10 years old, my dad took us out to the country to see the comet Hyperion. That ultimately set me on my passion in life, and today I'm a professional astronomer. To always make your loved ones a priority. Make it your purpose. My dad worked hard to give us a comfortable life and more opportunities than most. And after what I can only assume was a long and tiring day, the first thing he'd do was sit and watch cartoons with me and my brothers while asking us about our day. And when he was forced to quit his job and decided to start up his own company, go on for half a year without income, I can only imagine how stressful it was to be so uncertain about the future while providing for a family of 6. I was slightly young, but I never knew anything was wrong. He never let it show. And even though he worked probably 10 hours a day, he always took the time to ask me how I was doing and go to every important event with us. My dad was and is a superhero. Always will be. The next thing I'd say I learned from him was patience. Whenever he was upset with me or thought there was something up, he'd ask me about it and wait until I was done with my side before saying anything. Really made me feel heard and less worried to tell him something even when I knew it's not what he'd like to hear. Update. Thanks for all the love. I never expected this kind of response. I think my dad would be amazed at how something so simple made a huge difference. Stay curious. My dad taught me to indulge my love for learning. Want to read a history of the Aztecs at 6 years old? He took me to the library and we got a real history book, and he helped explain what I had a hard time reading. Want to help in the garage? He taught me all the tools and taught me how to clean them and oil them and how to use them. He always took me seriously and answered every question. He was my greatest teacher and my biggest defender and my rock. I lost him in 2003 and I have missed him every minute since then. How I raised my kids has a whole lot to do with how he raised me. My dad told me that he would pay for any reading material I wanted. It didn't have to come out of my allowance. My parents had the same policy. If I wanted junk food, movie tickets, etc., I had to use my allowance. But if I wanted a book, they'd pay for it. I couldn't go nuts, because we were far from rich, but book fair days were good days. We also went to the library every Saturday morning. My favorite quote came from the early 2000s. He died 11 years ago. If the way this world works ever starts to make sense to you, you need to start worrying about yourself. My dad would say that his dad told him that if things wouldn't make sense if you didn't pay attention. My dad told me that the opposite would be true by the time I grew up. Right he was. I learned how to be selfless, how to feed everyone else before I sit down, how to enjoy taking care of someone. I learned how to grow vegetables. I learned how to fix a sink, or rig something together if I need to. I learned diplomacy and patience and practicality. I learned to pay attention to what sounds my car is making, how it feels when it turns or when I let go of the wheel. I learned resilience and perseverance. I learned that I should work hard and do the best I can every time I can, and that's all I can do. He taught me responsibility and morals, regardless of religion or politics. He taught me how to chop parsley and cook steak, how to fry potatoes for breakfast and how to slice tomatoes thin. My father is an immigrant, an engineer, a practical, but sensitive and caring man. I wouldn't be who I am or have what I do without him. Everything I am or will be is owed to him and my mother. who is equally magnanimous. Your dad sounds like a good man. Your beautiful description of him reminds me of a Raymond Carver poem. Late fragment. And did you get what you wanted from this life? Even so, I did. And what did you want? To call myself beloved. To feel myself beloved on the earth. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Measure twice, cut once is what I was going to say. If it counts, I learned not to emotionally and physically abuse my kids from my father. I am the man and father I am today, because I swore I would be all things that my father was not. Responsibility, accountability and love are 3 things I value highly. I was literally just talking about this yesterday. The only good thing my dad provided me with was an example of everything not to do. Make sure to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell like it owes you money. Remember to post your favorite comment from the video in the comment section below for a chance to be featured in my next video. I hope you enjoyed this fantastic video and I hope you are all staying safe. Show a small channel some love by liking and subscribing. Take care. Hip hip cheerio. Much love from me, Matt British.